What is going on, people? Mark from Double Clutch Auto Reviews here. Thank you so much again for tuning in for another review video. Today I am here with one of the most hyped up and highly anticipated vehicles to ever enter the EV automotive market, ever. This is the 2022 Ford F-150 Lightning. The most affordable F-150 Lightning that you could obtain, the base trim or the pro trim rather, which is geared more towards contractors or trying to enter the fleet vehicle market, starts at around $40,000. That trim level comes with the standard battery pack, which has a range of 230 miles on a full charge and has 452 horsepower and 775 pound-feet of torque. This specific trim is the Lariat, which has the extended range battery pack, which increases the horsepower to 580 horsepower and increases the range to around 320 miles on a full charge. Ford says that the extended range pack shoots this F-150 Lightning from 0 to 60 in only 4.4 seconds. However, I'm calling hogwash because this thing feels way faster than that. Other than the Shelby F-150, the F-150 Lightning is the fastest F-150 ever made, even faster than the Raptor. This Lariat package that I have in front of me starts at around $65,000 USD, but the Platinum trim, the top dog, comes in over $90,000 MSRP. That is a hefty price tag. However, you have to consider all of the other EV pickup trucks in this market. The F-150 Lightning is one of the most affordable EV trucks out right now. The Rivian R1T starts at around $90,000 and can get well over that. The Hummer EV, don't even get me started, that starts at around $150, can go well over $250 with dealer markups and incentives nowadays in the car market. The Tesla Cybertruck also doesn't even exist yet. I know $40,000 is still very expensive for many people, especially just for the base Pro trim. However, considering what Ford is offering you with this EV truck package, they are giving you a groundbreaking, game-changing EV pickup truck at a fraction of the cost that other manufacturers are offering right now. Part of the reason that Ford can offer this EV pickup truck at a fraction of the cost that the other manufacturers can, Tesla, Rivian, Hummer, is the fact that they essentially use the same chassis as the traditional F-150. Ford says that from the front doors back, it is pretty much a standard F-150 body. There are obviously a few tweaks that Ford had to make specifically for the Lightning. However, overall it is pretty much the same body and chassis of the F-150 that's been on the assembly line for years. Not only did this dramatically reduce production costs for Ford, this will also allow Ford to make many more examples of the Lightning compared to the other one-off brands like I said earlier. This truck can potentially vastly expand the market availability for many people looking to get into the EV truck market, especially ones that are looking for a relatively affordable option. The Ford F-150 Lightning is an incredibly big deal for Ford, the EV market, and the overall automotive market as well. Not only has the F-150 been the best-selling pickup truck in the United States for the last 30 years, it is the best-selling vehicle, period, in the United States for the last 30 years. So to have an electric version of this truck now, when the whole world is going towards EVs, this is absolutely game-changing. This exciting, brand new, and very well hyped up F-150 Lightning has been provided to me for the day by Tasca Ford of Seekonk, located here at 200 Fall River Avenue in Seekonk, Massachusetts. This dealership has been awesome to work with and they have great customer satisfaction ratings. Come check them out if you are in the South Coast, Massachusetts, or general New England area. I will put all of their contact information and website links in the description below. Now, the F-150 Lightning chassis is only offered with the 4-door crew cab version with the shorter 5.5-foot bed. The only variations you can get are essentially the trim options, and that's also considering the standard versus the extended range battery pack. You can't get a regular cab or an access cab in the F-150 Lightning. An interesting fun fact about the F-150 Lightning is that Ford had to beef up the frame of this truck based on how the weight of the battery packs sat betwixt the frame, so they added independent rear suspension for this truck. That is certainly an F-150 first. Ford did this to account for all of that extra heft that you get with the battery pack sitting down low in this vehicle. And now we'll talk about the exterior styling of the F-150 Lightning. Overall, it pretty much looks like a regular F-150, and I think that's exactly what Ford was going for. They wanted familiarity with this truck. A lot of EVs are known to be vastly different and crazy futuristic looking compared to other normal vehicles on the road. I think Ford really did a good job with just keeping this looking like a normal F-150. Obviously, if you know what this is, you will be able to tell the difference. However, most people will probably just think it's a regular old pickup truck. I think that's going to help some people not be so uneasy entering the EV market because they don't want to be that different and stand out that much. They want something that's familiar, and here it is. There are definitely a few things that make this truck stand out though compared to a normal F-150. The first two things are the light bars front and back, which look absolutely awesome. I love how Ford has done these LED light bars. They look so sick. Definitely distinct, definitely eye-catching. I also think the badges look super cool. I love that nice hyper blue along the outside of all the letters. I think that looks great. Also the lightning badge with the American flag on the back, because this truck is in fact made in Michigan, America. Another neat little touch is Ford actually left the center of this lightning badge in the back hollow on purpose so you could see the individual paint color of the F-150 Lightning that it's on. Interesting little touch right there. The front grille also has a very interesting look, as you can see. It is obviously not open because it is not a normal pickup truck. It is an electric pickup truck after all. Instead, it has this very interesting triangular geometric design all across the whole front. Very neat look. And that geometric triangular design trait is also carried over to the side badges right here next to the lariat. Very interesting touch how they incorporated that together. I like that a lot. I would also like to quickly talk about these wheels on the F-150 Lightning. These wheels are a lot more flat-faced, so to speak, than you would expect on a traditional pickup truck that might have a more rugged or off-road ready style appearance. Ford designed these wheels to get better aerodynamics, especially at highway speeds, to increase the overall potential range of this truck. And now let's talk about charging the F-150 Lightning. First, you have to come over to the driver's side front charge port right here. This opens right up for you. You kind of push it a little hard. Then all you do is take your charging device, stick it right on in. You'll watch that little circle light up, turn blue, and voila, now you're charging. And to stop charging, simply grab the plug, gently push that and pull it down. Come right here and just push firmly to lock it in place. And there you have it. What I find very interesting though is that on the passenger side, this is just a dummy charge port. It's just a big old phony. I don't know why Ford just didn't do another charge port over here, maybe to cut costs. Some would also say, why didn't they just make the whole fender blank and not put this fake charge port here? I think they did that just to keep the symmetry so it looks nice on both sides, so it doesn't have one awkward charge port only on one side. But just a neat little quirk about the F-150 Lightning. It doesn't have two charge ports, for instance, like the Audi e-tron I've reviewed last year. Another thing that I'd like to mention about this F-150 Lightning's charger is that it does in fact accept the maximum 150 kilowatt supercharger. With that, the standard battery pack charges from 15 to 80% in only 44 minutes. And the extended range pack, which this Lariat has, does 15 to 80% in 41 minutes. And now let's take a look at one of the most unique and highly anticipated features of the F-150 Lightning, the front trunk, or otherwise known as the Frunk. There are 5 ways to open the Frunk. The first, of course, is on the key fob. Push this button twice right here, beeps a few times, and opens right up for you. You can also come right underneath here and push this little button, which opens up the frunk for you as well. There's also this button right next to the steering wheel, as you can see. And there's also a button in the center screen. You push the F-150 Lightning in the top left corner, which brings it to the vehicle settings. You push access, and then you can push that button right there, and that opens up the front trunk. And you can open it via this traditional hood release spot right here. This is actually a manual release in case the battery dies. You pull this lever, and the hood opens for you manually. And now coming into the front of the F-150 Lightning, you can see that it actually has a decent amount of storage room up here. About the same size as a full-size sedan, about 14.1 cubic feet of cargo space. That's really impressive. We also have 2 LED lights fixed on the front end of it, so when the frunk is open, they shine down on the entire area. You activate them by pushing this button right here. And I know it's probably hard to tell how well they work in the daytime, but I'm sure at night those would be very helpful. Moving down the line next to our LED light switch, we have our emergency frunk release. So if you ever get kidnapped in an F-150 Lightning, this button is how you escape. Moving along next to that, we have our power panel, which has loads of outlets, 4 household outlets, 2 USB ports, and next to that, we have a grocery bag hanger here, totaling 4 bag hangers. That is awesome. Next, if you pull this panel up, this accesses your battery, so you can jump the F-150 Lightning in case it ever dies on you. And instead of pulling that panel off, you can also access these jump ports over here on the passenger side of the F-150 Lightning. You pull off this panel and you can access the spots to jumpstart the F-150 Lightning. We also have our windshield washer fluid fill up right here. And coming down to the false floor underneath the Frunk, we have some more storage space which you can put your chargers or other items that you want concealed and tucked out of the way. Overall, really impressive that this vehicle has this. And this is one of the biggest reasons why people are so interested in the F-150 Lightning, because it takes away one of the biggest problems of having a pickup truck: not enough covered storage. And it makes it a real strong contender for the EV market in regards to everyday and family use. And now coming over to the bed, or the actual trunk of the F-150 Lightning. Push this button to release it. We have a dampened tailgate, of course, because this is the Lariat trim after all. If you look to the left and to the right, we have these tool slots that you can place a clamp or a vice grip. For instance, if you're working on something on the bed, you can put the tool in this slot and it'll hold it for you. That is a very cool feature. This one does not have the drop-down tailgate with the step and railing, unfortunately, but I'm sure for most people they wouldn't mind that. This truck is already rhino lined after all. You definitely need that, especially up here in New England. And if you look to the left, you see another gigantic section of outlets and switches. I mean, this is amazing. This truck is essentially one gigantic power bank. I mean, that is incredible. You have so many outlets to choose from. And if you look to the left and to the right, you see more LED lights to light up the entire bed at night if you need. And along each side, you have multiple mounting points for ratchet straps, other cargo tie downs, whatever you need to put in the bed of the F-150 Lightning. And another neat little Easter egg, we also have a ruler on the inside of the tailgate of the F-150 Lightning. So if you're cutting wood or making other measurements, you can use that. Sure, it will come quite handy. Alrighty, y'all, now coming into the interior of the F-150 Lightning. Of course, I have the key in my pocket. You walk right up to it and it unlocks automatically for you. Very easy to step in with these gigantic running boards. Climb right on in. First thing you notice is that this truck is just, everything is top quality. The center screens look absolutely incredible, along with the gauge cluster. I mean, everything in here is just impeccable attention to detail. I'm gonna turn the truck on. I just have to press the brake and push the start button. The Built Ford Tough logo comes right on, and you can see the lightning strike on the center screen come to life. I mean, everything is just very, very theatrical with this truck. We'll come down to our door and first take a look at that. We have our door locks and memory seat controls right here, as well as our window switches and mirror controls right here. With just a push of a button, we can fold in both mirrors. That's pretty standard on pretty much all F-150s with that feature. Looking at our actual door panel, it's finished in this kind of almost maybe faux leather feeling thing. It feels nice. It's not that soft, but for the Lariat trim, I think it'll suffice. There's also this kind of faux wood trim right here. It looks nice though, and honestly, as far as I'm concerned, definitely nice enough for my standards in the Lariat trim. Looking down below and to the left of the steering wheel, we have our Frunk and tailgate opening buttons. We also have our mirror light controls. Right here is our headlight dial with our brightening and dimming switches for the gauge cluster and center screen. We also have our tailgate light button, as well as our emergency brake and our pedal adjustment buttons. This F-150 also comes with the Bang & Olufsen sound system. As you can see here, the speaker finish looks quite nice. And now we'll take a look at our steering wheel. On the left, we have all of our cruise control buttons, as well as our volume controls and our push to talk button. On the right side of the steering wheel, we have our gauge cluster control buttons, which includes the menu switch, the back switch, OK, up and down, phone hang up, previous track, and next track. And now let's take a look at the gauge cluster screen. I mean, this is absolutely incredible, all the things you have access to. One of my favorite things, as you can see, is the pitch and roll. You can see the degree of steering angle you're at. I'll turn the wheel, and you'll see right now it reads 10 degrees. When you're in a corner, you can also see how much degree of lean angle you're creating with the truck. I mean, that is so cool how they have that feature. Another really neat feature you could see in real time is your power distribution. You could see in real time how much power you're putting to the ground, along with your regenerative braking. You can also cycle through your various other functions that you would like to see in your gauge cluster. Your settings, audio, phone, navigation, your truck info, towing information, your tripometer, whatnot. I also love this gauge on the left. You can see how much range you have in real time, with also how much regenerative braking you're creating right there as well. And of course, to the right, we have our digital speedometer. And up top, as you can see, those are the temperature gauges for the battery packs. How cool is that? Now we'll move on to the center screen. Obviously, this is what's really talked about as far as this F-150 Lightning is concerned. This infotainment system is very intuitive, very user-friendly. You can go into this page to bring up your general menu. You can go into your navigation from right here. This brings up your map. If you want to go to the radio, same thing right here. Go right to radio. You can select your radio station you want from here. We also, of course, have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Another neat thing that we have is the trip energy. We can see how much energy that we are actually using for climate control use, driving, accessories, all of that. So you can exactly plan out how much battery you will need to get to the exact destination you're trying to get to. Very cool. Another cool thing we have in the infotainment system is the owner's manual. You can open this up, and of course it brings you right to the front page of the owner's manual for the F-150 Lightning. Another very cool thing, if you don't want to read, you can watch videos. I mean, of course, how cool is that? Look at this. I mean, this is pretty much taking my job away from me practically. Nah, I'm kidding, but that is a really cool feature nonetheless. And last but not least, one of the coolest thing about this infotainment screen is the games. If you're charging, you can play games on your F-150 Lightning. I've heard from Doug DeMuro that the lane change game is actually quite fun. Let's give it a shot. Oh. I don't know, for what it's worth, this is actually quite entertaining. I feel like I could do this for a little bit while I'm waiting for my Lightning to charge. Next, if you want to go into the vehicle settings, you click this little icon right here. It's a icon of an F-150 Lightning, of course. You can see all of your drive modes. You go from normal, sport, off-road, tow haul. You can scroll down here and see your one pedal drive, which I've been using a lot. It takes a little bit to get used to, but it's actually very cool how it has that feature being in an EV. Here's your locking differential button. It's not a true locking differential. It's an electronically simulating locking differential, but this is essentially how you activate your four-wheel drive, so to speak. We also have our camera. It is absolutely incredible, super crisp. We have our rear backup camera with a 360-degree top-down camera. It is top-notch, super easy to see all around you, makes backing up a breeze. We also have our towing mode. We can go into here. This has our active trailer assist. We can add a trailer if we want. We also have our smart hitch button here, and below that we have our onboard scales. How cool is this? The F-150 Lightning actually can weigh what's in the frunk, bed, and your passenger compartment to tell you exactly how much weight you have in the truck and make sure you're not going over your max payload. Very neat feature there. If you keep going down, we have our zone lighting, which lights up all around the truck, and we have our Pro Power onboard system where you can plug in all your tools, whatever you need. This thing is basically a gigantic battery pack. Another amazing feature that Ford sells to the customers for $4,000, you can have a system installed in your home that if your power goes out, your F-150 Lightning can actually power your house for 3 days full power, or up to 10 days if you conservatively use your power. That is absolutely incredible, groundbreaking feature right there. Absolutely worth mentioning. That is something that has never been done before in the car industry. Keep scrolling down, we have our parking mode, and below that, that is our intelligent backup power. That's what I just mentioned. And below that, last but not least, is our valet mode. You enter a pin, and then you can't do full send burnouts in this thing if you have the valet mode on. And now moving on below the center screen, we have our 2 USB ports down there with our wireless phone charger. Very cool. Looking down at our gear lever, it's a standard PR&D setup. Nothing really interesting there, except if you want, you can put it into park, push this little button, and the gear lever folds down. And now if you want, you can take your center console, push this button right here, and the whole thing flips forward so you have a nice wide table to work on. You can write things down, work on your computer right here. That is a very cool feature for brand new F-150s. Looking down along the dash, we have a very nicely finished looking piece for the top glove box. To open it, just push this button right here. Opens right up for you rather quickly. Below that we have our lower glove box, standard size I'd say. We also have another 12-volt outlet and another household outlet right next to that. And not to forget, to the left of the center screen, we have our trailer controls along with our trailer braking assisting mechanism right here. Now we'll climb out and check out the rear seats. close the front door just to show you. All you have to do to lock the truck is put your finger right on the lock button, it beeps, and you just walk away. Then when you come right back up to it again, put your hand on the door handle, it unlocks and you open it right up. Now coming into the rear seats, I mean, this is the crew cab, so we obviously have plenty of leg room back here. For rear seat passengers, there's a few amenities. In the Lariat trim, we have heated rear seats, gotta love that. Down below, we also have multiple power outlets. We have our household outlet as well as 2 USB ports right here. Above that is our 12-volt outlet. And we also have 2 cup holders with a phone slot in the front. And if you fold down the center armrest, it reveals 2 additional cup holders. This F-150 Lightning Lariat also has the power sliding rear window. Very nice feature. And we also have this gigantic power sunroof. Climbing out of the rear seats, this floorboard makes that very easy, of course. You can fold this part of the seat up and reveal more storage space. And if you want, you can fold that down to create a flat loading floor. I mean, between the Frunk and this F-150 has to have the most covered cargo space ever in a pickup truck. Alrighty guys, that about wraps up part 1 of the 2022 Ford F-150 Lightning review. I will post part 2 a few days after this video has already been out, and I'll link it in the description below. I hope you all enjoyed part 1, and stay tuned for part 2. Take care, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.